Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of DoubleClutch.ca magazine, and I'm joined...
When are the other guys getting here?
I think you mean howdy.
No, that bit's tired now. I'm not doing that anymore.
Is it? You literally did it last week.
Yeah, and now I'm done with it.
Okay. It's just us today, Nathan.
Oh.
Yeah. Not a full house. Apparently people have things to do, so...
How dare they?
Yeah. For shame.
Who are these schmucks going around having lives? Like a bunch of dinks.
Yeah, that Rush guy thinks he's so cool having planes to fly, I guess, and Imran is thinks he's so cool with his kid and whatnot.
Ugh.
Come on.
Anyway, despite them not being here, I think we can fill some time with this because we got some pretty cool stuff to talk about this week.
Absolutely. So, a quick recap of what we're talking about this week. We have the 2024, or is it the 25? Either way, it's the newest quote unquote ND3 Miata. 24. Yeah. Okay, so because I totally thought it was a 25. It's kind of weird. Whatever.
Either way, we have a new Mazda Miata, which has been updated for this year.
Exactly.
That is being called the ND3, because in Mazda parlance, their chassis code has been NA and B and C and D, and then they differentiate NA1, NA2 for updates.
Yes.
So we're now on ND3.
Yes.
Because this car has been... They've been making this since 2016. They've been making this for so long that it's on its third refresh now.
Almost 10 years.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. But we'll get into that later. Also in the garage this week, we have the 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor,
which is a pretty cool guy.
It's pretty sick. And we also have a dinosaur as well. We have the 2024 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro,
which is more of a dinosaur than the Raptor.
Yes, it is, despite not being
named after a dinosaur.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Guess we'll start with the Miata.
Yeah, because that's apparently relevant to both of our interests.
Why do you say that?
Because we both have Miatas.
Yeah, but you're the Miata guy. I'm just a guy that happens to have a Miata.
Not just any Miata. You have the former press car.
I have, last year's 23 press Miata.
Yes. So you're basically coming at this back to back.
This feels weird to be I'm definitely one of the strongest authorities on the subject, just by happenstance.
No.
Right? Isn't that weird, though?
No.
But I am.
No.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay.
No, but so much so that when Throttle House made their video about comparing the ND2 versus the ND3, they called me because I bought the last ND2.
Yes.
That's my car in that video.
Yes.
And we did the same thing. I did the same thing with James as I did with you today. We went back to back in both cars to really pick out the differences between the two of them. They're subtle. There's a lot of little changes that add up to the car, I think, feeling much more premium. It feels like a nicer product. Not necessarily better, just nicer.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
So, Mazda does this thing where it's really hard to pick out the differences unless you absolutely positively drive the cars back to back.
Yeah, if we didn't have both cars side by side right after the other, we wouldn't have known.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say going from the ND1 to the ND2,
that was big.
That was big.
Yeah.
You could definitely feel the differences between going ND1 and ND2.
Yeah.
That being said, Mazda didn't quite leave the ND2 alone over the years. They've done small things here and there. At some
little
point,
things, So I guess let's go a summary breakdown of the things that they say are changed. Yeah. So let's start with what I just mentioned. The traction now has modes.
Yes.
So instead of just being on or off, there is on, full on safety net. Yeah. There's a sport track kind of mode where it dials it back a bit.
Yeah, that little
off.
That little checkered flag button on the little instrument panel thing.
So there's that is new.
I always found there was a decent bit of leniency built into the Miata's factory.
I don't find that.
Really?
I do not find that. It's very snippy.
Huh.
I just turn it off.
Interesting.
It's not oppressive like old school 90s cars. But
right, yeah.
It's still it's on you.
It lets you kick out the back end just a little bit before you rein it in.
I have not encountered this.
Well, it's
you have to like throw the ever-loving shit out of the car to get to get it to intervene. Whereas I usually try to power over, and it doesn't let that happen.
Interesting. Different driving styles, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You're allowed to be wrong. Yep. So there's that tweak to the traction control. There's a brand new steering rack. They have, I can't remember if it's a new or recalibrated differential. There's a lot of quality of life changes to the interior.
Absolutely.
So they have like the new wider screen, the new infotainment. It's much slicker, snappier with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and it matches everything else Mazda's doing right now with that whole aesthetic. Because the Miata, my 23 is still on like the old looking software from 2016.
Yeah, that really dates it. It dated the car back then, dude.
Yeah, like it works. It's perfectly functional, but yeah, it's definitely pretty lackluster. On the same vein, the cluster is new. The same thing with what Mazda's doing with everything else. It just looks nicer. Oh, there's a lot of things to make the car look and feel nicer. And then exterior-wise, I think there's a couple new colors, and the lighting elements are brand new. And it's like just a bunch of subtle tweaks to make the car feel more in line with the other like pseudo-luxury vibe that Mazda's going for in their other products.
Yeah, piecemeal changes for sure, but when you stuff them all into one cohesive Miata-shaped package, it comes together to like feel different. It doesn't feel wildly different than yours, but you can tell it, like, they all add to the experience.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is a placebo effect, but I did find the steering a little bit heavier in the 24 compared to yours.
I didn't get that.
It's just a slight.
It's a lot of slight tweaks. Like if I didn't drive the 23 into work this morning, I would get in the 24 and like, this is different. I wouldn't be able to pin down exactly what's different, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're very subtle tweaks.
Yeah.
And like I kind of like came to this conclusion when I was with James, is like I think in line with every other Mazda car.
Yep.
I feel like the new rack is like a little slower, a little more relaxed, a little more like sure of itself on center, and it feels a little lighter, and then it ramps up more as you get off center. Whereas mine is more linear in that it's like the same weight throughout. It's much sharper, much edgier. And this is like a take it or leave it, right? Like it makes the car feel edgier, and some would say nervous.
Yeah,
the new car is much more relaxed. It's not missing anything. It's not like it's not dull now.
Yeah,
but it's they've like kind of like the S2000, like the AP1 to the AP2. They just just rounded off the edges a little bit and made the car feel nicer.
Yeah.
That's what I got out. I feel like the overall weight once you're in a corner is the same, but it just feels it feels heavier on center because it wants to stay on center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like that. I mean, we didn't have these out on the highway or anything, but with the ND3, but with your ND2 and the various NDs we've had over the years since 2019, there is a bit of dartiness on the highway.
Yeah, like they're very edgy, nervousy cars. Especially, I don't know if you picked up on this when we had it over the winter. Like that car is sketchy.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the new car would be, or at least not to the same extent. It wouldn't feel nearly as much.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. The quality of life updates inside go a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a lot nicer. Especially like having the new screen is nice. The cluster I find is the big one. It just looks so much prettier.
Yeah,
just more modern.
Yeah, because like yours has the old school clock radio font for the numbers and stuff, and it's fine. You can see it. You can read it. It's fine. Legible.
It works.
It's there. It works. Mm. But the new one's just like, it just feels more cohesive.
Yeah.
Well, it looks prettier, sharper.
It's in line with like all the other nice shit Mazda's doing. Like you get in a Miata and then you get into a 3, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It felt like a generation behind because it was, and now it's been updated.
Yeah. Yeah. Infotainment's cool. I like the widescreen.
Mm-hmm.
I think you definitely get less of that protrusion from the dashboard.
Yeah, because it is a shorter, wider screen. Yeah. As opposed to my old CRT television that's parked in the middle of my dashboard.
Yeah. It looks better.
I find that the diff... See, everyone's talking about the steering in the new car.
Yeah.
Which is like a very marginal difference. I feel more out of the diff. The car like sets up and takes a corner quite differently.
Really?
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
It just feels like, because they said I think from what I remember, they slowed down or like dialed back the rate at which the diff locks under deceleration.
Yeah.
It can make that car feel quite edgy slowing into a corner. This kind of rounds that off. So the car, it doesn't understeer. It just feels more sure of itself. Like it takes just a second longer. Like getting it to take a set into a corner feels a little more deliberate.
Yeah.
Whereas mine, you kind of fling in.
Yeah.
This is more. It feels more German. Just like it wants to go in a line better.
Yeah.
Feels like it's a little more guided, a little more on rails. A lot of really subtle tweaks. I think, and a lot of people are kind of like blowing out of proportion. Like, I forget who it was. Like, the Miata's fixed. It wasn't broken. Like,
no.
These are really subtle
that's
tweaks.
The thing.
Yeah.
Like, arguably, it was fixed in 2019 when they gave it more power.
Yeah.
But, you're right. It wasn't broken.
Yeah. Just a lot of little quality of life things, and it feels like a nicer car, like all the other nicer cars Mazda's making now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're stealing the headlights, aren't you?
I'm taking the headlights and the taillights and the dashboard. I might as well take the wheels and tires.
You could just take the whole car.
No. They'll notice. I like my red.
Yeah.
I like the new gray on this car. I have mixed feelings about it because it is like a light primer gray, but there's some metallic in it, so it has a bit more dimension than like the Nardo Audi gray that everyone's stealing.
I don't like primer gray. Like, I hate it. I do think that Mazda's take on primer gray has been a little more interesting than most. Like polymetal gray, you can get on basically everything else. Like, in the sun, you have that slight blue tinge to it.
It's a very blue gray with like I found like gold in the metallic, so it like shimmers.
Yeah. This new color, I think pretty sure it's called Aero Gray. It's considerably lighter than
a lot lighter
than polymetal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has that gold flake to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice.
It's more interesting.
It's got a decent amount of dimension to it. Like, as far as like that whole realm of light grays go, I'm pretty into it.
Yeah, I'm obviously gonna sound like a broken record here, but like I really wish Mazda did more adventurous color options with it.
Yeah,
like
me too. And it's like, and they narrow it down on the performance pack cars, right? Because like for my car, like my choice was like red, black, or white, from what I recall. Like you couldn't even do blue or anything.
Yeah.
Like all right, I guess I'll do red.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, Mazda's red is very pretty.
It's beautiful.
But, a proper blue, maybe some, orange will be cool. BRG will be cool.
BRG would be very cool.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they haven't done a BRG edition.
Yeah, me too.
They will probably do a 30th, because they did a 30th anniversary. They'll probably do a 35th anniversary, and that will probably be a BRG.
It better.
Mark my words.
Or else we're going to riot.
BRG over terracotta. I can almost guarantee it.
They better. Or else we're going to riot. You know what would be sick?
Well.
Remember your CX-90 signature tester that you had last year in that burgundy?
Yeah.
That would be so nice. Could you imagine if they did like a modern M edition?
Yeah.
Like, do the BBSs in silver, do like the new tan interior. Oh, God.
God, that'd be so pretty. That'd be such a desperately pretty car.
Oh, yeah.
And they already have that color. They can do it.
They do.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Fucking do it, Mazda.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on that one? Good car, still good.
Good car, still good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Speaking of ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess we'll talk about my 4Runner for a bit.
Yeah. That's definitely that's definitely if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So I already started writing that review, and that's my whole kind of thing with that.
Excellent. Although, I will say, you are bringing like a unique perspective to this 4Runner, because you've basically driven all the other Toyotas that are essentially underpinning the new the
upcoming 4Runner, yeah.
4Runner. So it's kind of adding an interesting bit of context here.
Yeah, because for anyone not aware, the Tacoma and 4Runner have always been like platform twins.
Yeah.
And there's a weird case for just this year where Toyota has redesigned that platform.
Yep.
And they've rolled out the new Tacoma on that after 20 years of the last platform. They've also launched the new Land Cruiser on it.
Yep.
Am I missing something? I feel like there's the Lexus GX is on that.
The GX, yeah. I think the Tundra, the Sequoia, and the LX600, they're all like on a version of that platform.
Yeah, but they're all like the bigger version of that platform. This is the smaller version of it. That's on the Tacoma and the Land Cruiser. The 4Runner for just this one more year carries over on the ancient platform with the old engine and the old interior. And I gotta tell you, I wasn't looking forward to this assignment, honestly, because like I've had a pile of Toyotas this year, and now why are you giving me an old one? I didn't like the last old one I had, the Corolla Cross.
You dibs it.
I did dibs it before I drove everything else Toyota has.
Sorry for giving you what you want.
I can never win. I really like it. It's kind of got me thinking, like, beware the march of progress.
Interesting. Okay. How so?
Because the new trucks are supposed to be smarter. They're supposed to do things smarter and have more tech and generally be smarter vehicles.
Yep.
Like when I had the Tacoma 2 weeks ago, that did not feel smarter in a meaningful way that translated to practical use. So like the 2.4 turbo versus this old 3.56.
Yeah.
Like that engine feels kind of anemic. And it sounds like a Subaru Boxer. And
okay, so like, I wasn't the... So I...
No, it wasn't just you.
It wasn't just me.
I was trying to put my finger on what it was, and as soon as you called it, it was definitely that. Like, that sounds like a Subaru engine.
Yeah, it's uncanny. If I close my eyes, it felt like it...
You're in a WRX. A very slow lumbering WRX.
I was going to say more like a modern day Baja, but that could work too.
Either way.
Yeah.
Whereas the old V6, smooth power delivery.
Yeah.
Good torque. Has less torque on paper, but it feels like more because I'm not waiting for the turbo to spool up.
Yeah.
And the fuel economy I'm getting, because I did a road trip in it yesterday, and I'm getting about the same fuel economy as I did in the Tacoma and the Trail Hunter and the Land Cruiser.
See, the Trail Hunter, that's interesting because that's got the...
That's on the hybrid. The Land Cruiser's on the hybrid too. I feel like those could be better, but I have those for short drives. There's probably a little more room in those.
Yeah.
And the 4Runner was like under very optimum conditions because it was all highway, and I was doing like 11.8 liters per 100.
Yeah, and you basically had the Taco Trail Hunter and the Land Cruiser on like mostly highway, which is not what hybrids like. Hybrids like around town
and
driving.
in city they do a lot better.
Yeah,
but even then, like this is TRD Pro. Like it's on big knobby ass wheels and has a huge roof rack to drag it down.
Yeah,
and it's still doing okay.
That's actually very surprising. It's like just as good as the new Taco.
Yeah, we're exactly. Whereas my base Taco, granted, 6-speed manual, so like I feel like the 8-speed would probably be a little better. But even then, I was doing like 12.5 average over a week in urban and mixed use.
Yeah,
but still like about the same, and it feels worse, even though it's better on paper. But it's not actually saving any fuel, and it's far more complicated. Just shit like that, or like the old 5-speed, right? Like it's been like an internet meme. Like Toyota's finally retiring the last 5-speed on Earth. But it's good. It never hunts for gears. It never has to think about what it's doing because it only has 5 to pick from. And they're well chosen, unlike the 6 and the Taco.
I will... I'm going to challenge you slightly on that because the last time I had a 4Runner TRD Pro, this was like 2-3 years ago. They're all the fucking same, so it doesn't matter when. They're all the fucking same truck. I put on about 1,100 kilometers on that thing. It's a cottage road trip. Whatever. I didn't like the 5-speed. I found that it did hunt for gears, especially when you had cruise control going on the highway, and you came across even the slightest incline. It would eventually downshift.
Yeah.
And once I crested whatever hill, it would still hold on to that gear, and that was especially annoying because of the TRD exhaust on that thing.
I did not encounter the huntiness you discovered. I drove that thing to Scotland and back. Literally to Scotland and back.
Scotland, Ontario, mind you.
But either way, I drove to Scotland and back.
Yep.
And I didn't I had honestly zero gripes with the trans. I thought it was perfect.
Fair. Probably not.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
But man, that the TRD Pro exhaust. Yep. It drones from the factory.
Yeah.
And not helped by the fact that super clutch thing about 4Runners that everyone else except me is aware of, but I had not realized or experienced until yesterday. Huge ass sunroof, rear tailgate glass down, bombing down the highway. That is zen. That is so fucking clutch. I loved it. It's the best. It is the absolute best way to move air through a cabin by a fucking mile.
Interesting.
It's so lovely.
Huh.
Because you have, you're not creating that pocket of turbulence.
Yeah.
Or you're not creating a weird pressure zone in the cabin.
It's no buffeting
by having everything just go out the back of the car.
Yeah.
It's just a nice, steady flow of air. Huh. It's so nice. And because the 4Runner is, I don't know, shaped right. Because I find most modern sunroofs suck because the windshield is too far raked, so the sunroof starts behind your head. So you got to look up and behind you to appreciate it.
Yeah.
The 4Runner, you just it's right there. It's over your head. It's perfect. Yeah. It's where it should be. So, yeah, for just a 2-hour highway drive, it was perfect. It was so nice. I kind of want an old 4Runner now. I enjoy driving it that much. And the smart things about it that it does have, Toyota Safety Sense stuff, adaptive cruise and lane tracing, they work just as well as the new stuff. It doesn't work below 50 kilometers an hour, which is kind of bewildering, but it works, right? So I found the smart stuff that matters, the powertrain, the transmission, the way it drives, the way it feels is the same or not better on the new stuff. And the stuff that doesn't matter, the frilly shit, the sound system, the adaptive cruise, its ability to drive itself, the infotainment. It's not as pretty.
Infotainment kind of matters.
It kind of matters, but I like the old shit better.
Yeah, but that's because you're a Luddite.
Yeah, but it has buttons. It has shortcut buttons and a tuning knob, which fixes every complaint out about the new system. The new system is approximately the same, just crisper. Yeah. But it doesn't have a tuning knob. The only thing I want infotainment to do is take me somewhere.
Yes.
And change radio stations.
But it can still do that without having Windows XP. Oh, fuck. You probably still use Windows XP.
Vista, but yeah.
That's the worst one!
Vista got a bad rap. But anyway, I in practice, it frustrated me zero, whereas the new system does frustrate me.
Interesting.
Because it has shortcuts and a tuning knob. It just does things.
Yeah. I
like the cluster.
It getting used to the new system that's used in basically every other Toyota, so we don't necessarily have to drive the new 4Runner to know what it's like. I still like the new system.
I like the new system.
I do agree with you on the tuning knob. It's not enough to make me prefer the old system in something like the 4Runner.
I don't know. Okay, there's kind of two versions of the new system. There's because on pretty much every Toyota, there's a little screen and a big screen.
Yeah.
The big screen one is good. That's very good.
Yes.
The little screen one pisses me off because it could be better, and they're leaving that dead digital real estate on the bezel where they could have put shortcut buttons or fucking knobs on it.
Yeah.
And they didn't. This is not progress.
So the Taco that you had, did that have the
little screen?
It had the little screen.
Yeah. But I hated it.
But you also don't use CarPlay and Android Auto. Okay, so I found when I was using that, and this is something that I didn't get in the LC500, in the IS500 that we had. In a Prius Prime that you had. So,
too many Toyotas,
I know. I'm seeing it. Ben's right. We had too many Toyotas in a row, whatever. So, going from the Taco with a small screen and spending a couple of days with your Prius Prime last week with the big screen, I did notice in the Taco, when I was running CarPlay, there's a little arrow in the top left corner of the screen, which you could toggle for a full widescreen CarPlay view, or if you push it to make it, if you tap that little arrow, you you can make the readout slightly smaller, and it brings back the native controls for the controls for the native infotainment system.
I see.
But
that's a nice touch.
But I think, and I could be wrong here, so Toyota, please put more vehicles on your press fleet with the smaller screen. I think that is exclusive only to the small screen Toyotas.
Do not do that. I don't like the little screen. It pisses me off a lot. Like a lot. I don't like it. The big screen is great. The little screen pisses me off. And if we're going to do a little screen, give me the old little screen with buttons around it.
Or they could just update the big screen software so it has a little arrow which you could adjust the size of the CarPlay readout.
That's also nice. That's a nice touch.
That will be a good compromise. Anyway, now that I'm done that tangent.
Yeah, I really like it. Don't get me wrong, like they've made a lot of progress on the new trucks, especially with the hybrid powertrain. Yep. If you have like the scratch to shell out for it, awesome.
Yep.
Do that. That's fantastic. Like overall, they're like, I find they drive about the same actually. Like they could be down to the Fox shocks on this TRD Pro.
Yeah.
But I find that overall, like they steer, drive, ride, feel about the same. Like they did a very good job capturing, we've always said this, right? They did a very good job capturing the old, tough, trucky feel in their new products. But I like the old V6 better. I don't see, and this is not a Toyota thing, like across the board, I don't like these like smaller, force-fed, life-supported compliance engines. They all piss me off. I'm not crazy about the new infotainment. There's just a lot of things like, are we 100% sure this is progress? It's just, maybe they were onto something here. Maybe this is why they didn't fix it for so long, because it wasn't broken. And I really like it for that. And I honestly kind of want one now. One that's like 15 years old, because it's the same truck.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you basically don't have to pay as much as a new one for one that's like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah. And this truck was like 72, 73 grand.
So the new Land Cruiser. You can't get that one with just a Turbo 4.
I honestly don't remember. I was going to look this up yesterday and then I forgot. I think the super base ones, I think you can, but I don't know for sure.
Because I'm pretty sure, at least when it boils down to the new 4Runner versus the new Land Cruiser, one of them's hybrid only, the other is...
You are probably right. It's probably... The Land Cruiser is probably hybrid only.
It's one or the other. Like,
it would stand to reason it would be the Land Cruiser, like the more like flagship-y, premium-y kind of product.
Yeah. I'm like 80% sure that's the case. Which kind of doesn't bode particularly well for the new 4Runner, considering your thoughts at least on the V6.
I mean, we haven't had this new 4-cylinder without the hybrid assist on the automatic. I hated it behind the 6-speed stick. I think the automatic go a long way to hiding its shortcomings, but I still fail to see it being a big improvement over the old 6.
Okay. Time will tell, I guess.
It's just a compliance motor. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool truck. If you really like having a brand new old truck, go buy one now because they're done.
Honestly, new old cars are just the best.
They really are. Like all my favorite cars last year were old cars.
Yeah.
So much so that I bought one of the oldest ones.
Speaking of dinosaurs, we have another dinosaur in the garage this week.
Tell me about your dinosaur, Nicholas.
This dinosaur is the 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor.
Remember how I drove that like 2-3 months ago and I said it was fucking sick?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It's sick.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so it's kind of cool that Ford finally listened and, gave North America a Ranger Raptor. I remember I distinctly recall being in Portugal in like 2019 or whatever, and I saw one in the wild. I was like, that is fucking sick.
They were diesel too, weren't they?
I think they were.
Like the rest of world Ranger Raptors were all diesels.
Those were,
cool.
That's sick. It's cool that it's finally here in North America. You're right. It does live up to the hype.
Yeah, they're a fucking really cool truck.
Yep. So unlike the Taco Trail Hunter, this one this one got the twin turbo EcoBoost V6 under the hood.
Yeah.
10-speed auto, which I'm still not fond of. I do like the engine.
Engine's very good.
It's not.
It doesn't sound like a truck motor, right?
No, it absolutely doesn't. If I was driving this blindfolded, I would think I'm driving like definitely not a pickup truck. Yeah. I don't want to say like a Infiniti G35.
I was kind of thinking like a G35, like a big, like a Howling 6.
Yeah,
it sounds like kind of sports car-y.
It does.
Yeah,
it really does. Which is such a mind fuck.
It sounds like a 400Z
with
an exhaust.
Yeah, like an uncorked 400Z. Yeah, definitely. Such a mind fuck. Really cool. Still don't like the transmission.
No, even in like its most aggressive setting, it's pretty like reluctant to downshift.
Yeah,
like when you're on it and like banging power through it and it's slamming through gears, it's actually very good. It'll crack them off really quick.
Yeah,
but it is hesitant to go into that mode.
Yeah,
like you got to floor it for a full second to call on like those kickdowns.
Yeah, you could tell that even when you're not like, even when you're not thrashing it, if you want to like, if you want to give the beans when you're merging, or you want to move into a faster lane and there's an 18-wheeler barreling down on your ass, change lanes, give the beans, and like half a second, and like it takes like half a second or to like downshift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got to think about
shoot ahead. I don't like that.
I don't love that.
Yeah, Ford's application of the 10-speed is definitely more miss than hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just calibration. Like the hardware can do it. It's just calibration.
Yeah, for sure. Because GM basically uses the same transmission, and like their 10-speed is fine.
Is it? No, I thought they had the 9-speed. Didn't like Ford and GM both collaborate on it, and then kind of went their own ways for the finishing touches? That was my understanding. I could be wrong.
Doesn't the Escalade, like the big trucks, don't they have the 10-speed?
It is a 10-speed.
Yeah.
We gotta look this up because I don't remember now.
I'm like 90% sure it's. I'm like 90% sure they. I
think you're right. They do have a 10-speed. I don't know. Not crazy about the trans in this. Otherwise, very cool truck. Handles really well.
It does.
Tell me how it handles.
It's like, dude, even on pavement, it's just so easy to slide that thing.
Yeah, like it's set up like it's really well balanced, especially for like a truck, a nose heavy truck. It's like dialed in.
It feels more like a rally car, dare I say?
Yeah, it feels like another built WRX with a cool motor.
Yeah. I do like, so obviously the fact that we now get the Ranger Raptor is obviously the headline. Mm-hmm. But like even beyond the whole headline grabbing nature of the Raptor, even beyond all that, I feel like the updates to the general updates to the Ranger itself.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask, so putting aside like Ranger Go Fast Raptor stuff, like how do you feel about the Ranger itself?
It's much, much, much better.
It's so much nicer.
It does. It definitely doesn't feel like an aged product. Yeah. Like when we got the last Ranger, it was and it was definitely a few years into its life cycle.
Yeah, like by the time the Ranger got here, it was due for a refresh.
Yeah.
And now, like, this feels like a very nice, fresh, contemporary, like, modern truck.
Yeah. I like the digital gauges. Very crisp displays, good graphics. Its response, the tablet-oriented infotainment system, that's new for the Ranger. The previous years had the standard setup with like the widescreen and a bunch of physical controls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a smaller version of what they were doing on the F-150.
Yeah.
With a good mix of physical controls.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. I like the fact that there's redundancy built into the new infotainment. Like you can use the on-screen controls for like if you want to adjust like the AC, the temperature, whatever. Mm-hmm. I also like the fact that Ford still gives you a full set of physical switch gear right underneath.
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
I will admit, I did mix up one time the temperature. adjustment with the volume control. The volume knob is like right in the middle versus the temperature knob is like, it's just, dude, they're the same size.
Yeah. I don't remember that great because I was racing the Ranger when I had it, but yeah.
Yes. See, that's the thing. You race the Ranger, I'm living with it.
Yeah.
Exhaust sounds cool. Like the new interior, it feels appreciably nicer. So the Raptor gets like beefier seats, bunch of red accents because red is the fastest color. You know, it's a cool environment. It feels nice.
There's lots of little touches like the faux suede on like the dash and the doors to kind of like, instead of just leaving that as bare hard plastic, like, let's dress this up a little bit. Let's make this feel like an $87,000 truck. Yeah, and it does, at least when you're sitting up front. Obviously, in the back seat, it's a penalty box. You don't have the nice. It is a penalty box, but it's much less a penalty box than the others. The Tacoma's tight. The GM twins are like pretty brutal. The Ranger is actually usable as a back seat for adults. Yeah, I think it's the only one of the class that really does it.
Yeah, I also kind of like the fact that our specific tester doesn't have a sunroof.
Yep. I can't remember if Rangers have that. I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah. But it's cool that it doesn't.
Yeah, more headroom does the whole
for helmets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What else? What else about it? I also like the fact that, unlike, it feels like Ford sweat the details a lot more in terms of making it feel, in terms of baking in more unique engineering into this thing. Like the Canyon, the Colorado ZR2 or the Canyon AT4X that you had, which was basically, it felt like, aside from, the Multimatic dampers, it just feels like the rest of it was like a dress-up kit.
Yeah, well, like it's a stock truck with like wheels, tires, and a models lift. Yeah. Yeah.
I do like the fact that the Ranger's upgrades feel more cohesive, like more. They're not just skin deep, right?
Yeah, Ford Performance Australia in particular went fucking ham on this truck. Like the amount of, like, you see like $87,000 for a mid-sized truck, and you're like, what the fuck? Are you high? Yeah. But when you look at what else is out there, like the Trail Hunters 83, the GM twins, and when they're like decked, and we didn't have these, are like 82-ish. Yeah. In this truck, you have a different engine altogether. Yeah. Entirely different front and rear suspension design.
See, that's
like entirely different. Not even like beefed up. Entirely different.
That's nuts to me.
Yeah, like huge control arms, like crazy beefy shocks. Like everything is totally different. Like this is a like pretty well purpose built trophy truck. Yeah. With cats and turn signals. Basically. Like it's crazy. What the amount of like extra hardware, like serious hardware that Ford built into this truck. Yeah.
And it's only what, $5,000 off the price of the Taco Trail Hunter?
4 or 5, yeah. That's the Trail Hunter was like 83.
Which is cool, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. The very cool truck, and probably like a better like rock crawling overlanding rig because it has a longer bed. That's huge. The Trail Hunter's a 6-foot bed. Everything else is 5. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, I don't feel like the bed is particularly useful in this thing.
No, like if you're moving large things regularly, you're not buying a mid-sized truck in the first place. Yeah. If you're just moving stuff, it's kind of great. Like for a camping rig or whatever, it's perfect. Yeah.
Is it just me, or does the Ranger Raptor kind of look like maybe a baby Ram TRX?
I didn't get that out of it. I didn't get that.
It definitely doesn't seem to me like a shrunken down F-150 Raptor.
No, they definitely went for a different language.
But I feel like with the way its fender flares are designed, plus the wheels, plus like the fact that it's kind of like, bulging in all the right places, like,
Yeah, do you like it when it's bulging, Nicholas? You walked right into that one, buddy.
I did.
Got him.
Anyway, to me, kind of seems like a baby TRX. From certain angles, if I squint hard enough.
I will have to... do you like doing it harder? I'll have to revisit this, because I didn't get that out of it. I find it's definitely the least outrageous Raptor, because the Raptor trucks have always been, like, fucking bonkers. Like, balls to the wall insane. Like, the F-150 was wacky and just got wackier. The Bronco comes out, and it's the same platform. It comes out, and it's, like... It takes an already, like, beefy brick of a truck and just, like, bolts biceps to it.
Yeah.
And then the Ranger is, like, relatively subdued. Still wacky, but relatively subdued next to these.
Yeah.
I kind of really like that about it.
Do you think maybe it's because the Aussies prefer subtler trucks? I don't know.
Maybe.
Is that an Aussie thing? Could it be an Aussie thing?
I think, well, it's a very American thing to have, like, our enormous huge trucks.
Yeah.
Like, that's very us. We're the only place on earth that can really do that. And the Aussies are just, I think they're just kind of like, why?
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah. I was reading an article a while ago where, like, Ram 1500s, like our big ass truck is getting over there and selling in like very good numbers, and people are freaking out about these like enormous behemoths that are dangerous to pedestrians and like other cars on the road because they're not used to this thing.
That's rich.
Yeah.
Did you see the stories today about Ford CEO being like, North Americans are buying too many trucks, buy smaller cars?
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Ford.
Yeah.
Jim Farley
was saying,
the guy who runs the company,
sells was like
the best-selling vehicle in the continent for 50 years.
Many large vehicles.
That being the F-150.
That being many other pickup trucks and SUVs, says North Americans are buying too many large vehicles, and it's getting kind of out of hand.
I mean, he's right.
He is.
He's 100%. That's a ballsy thing for that guy in that position to say. Like, holy shit.
It's a little rich coming from the car company that basically killed all their small cars and sells no cars except for the Mustang.
I mean, can you blame them? It's business. That's what was selling.
Yeah.
The market was just moving in that direction. They just got ahead of the curve. Like, I hate it. But like from a business perspective, I can't knock them for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all marketing's fault.
Yeah.
Marketing got us all believing we need trucks to survive. But dangerous, crazy world out there. So you better get an F950. Frightening.
Oh, big truck.
It just baffles me to death. But he's right. He's 100% right. And I feel like he's probably one of the only guys who can say that because of the position that he's in. It's like, yo, I know that I'm doing this, but y'all need to fuck off a bit. Because this is getting silly. Huh. Like, for every time he has to update the F-150, he has to make it bigger. You just have to. That's a rule.
Yeah.
You can't go less on a new product. You have to go more. And where do you go?
Where does it stop?
Well, like, granted, we said that 20 years ago, too. So, I don't know.
Like, what's a light-duty pickup truck going to look like in 20 years?
Right? There's going to be a house.
A literal house.
Yeah. Yeah, just like a nice detached bungalow.
Still probably cheaper than buying a condo in downtown Toronto.
Was there like a summary or a thesis to Farley's statement, or just the general like? It's funny that he said it.
It's funny that he said it.
Okay, that is pretty funny that he said it.
Yeah, kind of.
He's right though.
He is.
Buy more Rangers, people.
More Ranger Raptors. But like even then, I feel like commuting in this thing, like I kind of get why people are gravitating towards trucks as daily drivers, but like at the same time, the Ranger's footprint is all most people need out of a truck that they daily drive.
Yeah, like it's the same footprint as like a mid-size sedan. It was parked next to an M5 today, so I say this with some authority.
Yeah,
the M5 was like a tiny bit longer. Yeah, like. What else do you actually need a vehicle to do? Really?
You need it to take you from point A to B.
Yeah. Have stuff. Have space for your stuff and your people.
Yes.
It can do that.
Which the Ranger does. And it also does the whole bed thing for that just in case scenario that you're bringing in something
big,
tall or big or heavy that you won't fit into like a normal hatchback or whatever.
And the Ranger is like full of like tie down points.
Yeah.
So like if whatever you're moving is bigger than the bed, you'll still make it work.
Yeah. And it also has the benefit of not being absolutely fucknormous.
Yeah.
Or as fucknormous
It'll
as a
fit
regular
into a
F-150.
parking spot and an underground garage.
Yeah.
Like, and has a tight turning circle. Like you can use this thing all the time.
It's surprisingly livable.
Yeah. It's not like taking like an F-150. I was going to say Raptor, but any F-150 like downtown. Like it's cumbersome. You got to be like really aware of the size of the thing.
Oh yeah.
You could fit a Ranger anywhere.
Yeah. Also, side note, as cool as the bespoke suspension is on the Ranger Raptor, and as many benefits as it yields when you're ripping these things off road, it is very comfortable on pavement.
Yeah.
It just deletes potholes and speed bumps.
Yeah. Well, it's designed to delete dunes, so it'll delete speed bumps too.
It's cool. I was at like Home Depot yesterday because of course I was with a truck because I need to take my truck to Home Depot.
Yeah.
And like the speed bumps that they have in their parking lot, it's a fucking killer in like a regular car.
Yeah.
But like,
and like
the Raptor is just
like a little thump. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. They ride and drive really well. Like it's not just for like go fast race car stuff.
Yeah.
It's taut. Like it's not like cushy. Just really smart damping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. By and large, it's a cool product. It's fucking sick. Gets less attention than I thought it would, especially since like ours has like that wacky sticker package along the side
because it's subdued.
Like surprisingly enough,
yeah, because it's somewhat subdued and it's not the size of a detached bungalow.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Between the engine, between the powertrain, the engine, the chassis, the suspension tuning, all the engineering that Ford put into this to make it like genuinely capable, it's kind of worth the wait.
Yeah, really cool truck. I think now that I've come back around to this and having driven all the mid-sizes except for the Nissan Frontier, I think this is like, for me, it's a pretty clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
Wow. Like amongst the off-road kids, Ranger Raptor definitely for sure.
Yeah.
And then amongst like the truck itself, not the off-road varietal, I think I'd still do a Ranger, man. Like if I had to recommend a midsize, I'd say get into a Ranger.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd like to revisit a Tacoma with a real transmission in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what Ford's done with the Ranger. I think it's really nice. It's really usable.
Yeah.
It's easy to live with. It's handsome. They're pretty aggressively priced. They offer an optional V6 that's not the Raptor V6.
That's a big one.
That's huge.
That's rare.
I think like they crushed this, man. They got a really, really cool truck on their hands.
Yeah. Plus, the Ranger Raptor is sick.
Also fucking sick. And we do like that.
Well, that pretty much takes us to the end of our episode today.
Yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Sorry we had a pretty limited crew in today, but we still managed to fill some time and talk about cool shit. And follow us on our socials at doubleclutch.ca. We like engagement, so if you have any questions, comments, yell at us.
Let us know what you want to talk about.
And,
we always yell back.
Thanks for listening, guys.
And last but not least, thanks for listening, Nathan's mom.
Bye.